So good morning friends. In standard 11 subject statistics and chapter number 1, that is collection of data. In last lecture, particular last video, we have learned about the origin as well as growth of statistics. Then after primary and secondary data, okay, difference between primary and secondary data, definition of statistics, okay, and in last difference between primary and secondary data, okay, that particular thing, 4 points that we have learned in last lecture. Now today in this lecture we are going to discuss about method of collecting primary data. See, as we discussed in last lecture, in last video, okay, primary as well as secondary data. So what do you mean by primary data? So primary data, that means any persons or any institute, those who are find out the data for the very first time, okay, and that data is called primary data. Okay, so here various methods are there to collect the primary data. Number 1, that is direct inquiry. Number 2, indirect inquiry, and number 3, that is method of questionnaires. Okay, so one by one in this video we are going to discuss. We have learned about 3 methods of collecting primary data. Number 1, direct inquiry. So see, word itself says that directly. It means that those person or those institute who wants to get any information, any data, those who are collect data by directly. Okay, it means that investigator himself or their enumerator. Enumerator, that means a person, those who are situated instead of investor. Okay, instead of investigator, those who are personally visit personally and ask some questions related to their inquiry and collect the data. Okay, so direct inquiry, it means that whatever data that you have required, you have to meet the respondents to the directly and directly meet that particular person, either yourself investigator yourself, or by enumerator, and visit personally, and thereafter he is taking the information. That is called direct inquiry. For example, if I want to get an information of a total average marks of excellent English medium school, so what I do, meet for example 12th standard. Okay, so I meet all the 12th standard students personally or with enumerator, help of enumerators, and get the information, okay, of the marks and find out the average. Okay, for example, I have to take an information about the farmers of Anand Taluka. What I do, meet the personally as well as with the help of enumerators all the farmers and get the information. Okay, so this is a direct inquiry. Let's see in a theoretical way. Okay, so here in this method, an investigator himself or an enumerator is appointed by him visit personally to the field and collect necessary information. That is called indirect inquiry. For example, if a person wants to collect about the condition of farmer of Sanand Taluka of Ahmedabad, he must go to Sanand Taluka, contact the farmer and obtain the regarding information. And that is called an direct inquiry. It means that directly meet to particular person, ask the questions and get the information. Now, advantages as well as disadvantages of this method. Okay, so various types of advantages is there and some disadvantages also there. So here number 1, accurate as well as reliable. See, in this direct inquiry, you meet personally to that particular person and get the information. So whatever data is there, it must be accurate as well as reliable. It means that the data should be there, that you have to get the trust. Okay, you can put the trust in particular data because the data is collected by investigator or their enumerator. Okay, so here number 1, that is accurate as well as reliable. It is more trustable data. Number 2, respondents face any problem, then enumerators solve solve it. Sometimes what happen? For example, if we are sending a questionnaire, then it is difficult. Sometimes what happen? The respondents are less educated. Okay, so he is not or she is not get the proper answer of it. But if we are sending enumerators, if we are visiting personally, so what we are doing? We are, if any problem arises, when they are get the answer of particular question, we have to solve. Okay, we give the solution of it and get the information. So here, due to the phase of interviews with respondents, enumerators can solve any questions or doubt or any confusion by giving proper explanation. By giving the proper explanation, they give the solution of that particular question. Next, number 3, also get the supplementary information. Okay, see, sometimes what happens, main information is helpful to us, but supplementary information is also helpful to accurate that particular data. For example, if any persons are there, those who are getting the like he wants the particular nutrition of that particular children in a family. Okay, so he meet the particular family, get the information that how much child is there, 1, 2, 3, whatever is there. Then he asks if they send the question, then they only put the question, are you giving the proper food? Yes or no? So, but always they are putting answer yes. But if we meet personally by investigator or enumerator, they can ask various type of questions. Okay, and get the more information. It means that they get the supplementary information. For example, okay, what you give in breakfast, in lunch, in dinner. Okay, so they get more information if they meet personally. Okay, so here by the personal interview, enumerators sometimes get supplementary information of the respondents which may be useful at the time of interpretation of results. At the time of interpretation of result, they get more information. They get good information related to that. Number 3, it's a best when the field is limited. See, if I want to get an information about only Borsad village or Borsad city, then it is easy. But same thing, if I want to get an information of each and every child, those who are studying in 12th standard of whole Gujarat, then it is difficult. Okay, because the field area is wide. Okay, at that time this method is less suitable. Okay, so here this method is much better when the field of inquiry is limited. So when the field of inquiry is limited, it means that limited scope is there, limited area is there, then it is so easy to meet personally, okay, and get the information. Next, number 4, if the respondent is not ready, then the enumerators convince and get the information. Sometimes what happens, if you are asking them the personal questions, personal life questions, okay, sometimes what happens, some people are there, those who are not ready to give a right information. Okay, so here if the enumerators personally visit for investigation, personally visit, then he is give the importance of that particular research work. Okay, so he is give the confidence that this data is not wide anyway or any other place. So he is convinced to that particular people and get the information. So here sometimes when the respondents are unwilling to give a particular type of information, the enumerators can get such information indirectly by asking supplementary questions and giving assurance against the misuse of the information provided by them. Sometimes what happens, some questions are there that we are not asked directly. So if the enumerators are there or personally visitors are there, then we can get that information in other way. Okay, to ask the another supplementary question and we get the information. So this is the advantages of direct inquiry. Some limitations are there. So here limitations, 3 limitations are there or advantages is there. Number 1, if in direct inquiry, as we discussed earlier, we have to meet personally to that particular people. And if we meet them personally, then it requires more time, more money, more manpower if the field is wide. Okay, if the field is very wide, for example, as we take that we have to get the information of the student of whole Gujarat, then it is too difficult to meet each and every student, okay, and get the information. So it is require more time, more money, and more manpower when field is wide, field is big. Number two, it's more expensive. Again, we have to meet personally. Okay, so traveling expense is there, salary of animators is there, okay, and other expenses is there, stationery and etc. So it's a more expensive. Last, information is less reliable if animator is untrained. Sometimes what happens? Animator is less educated or animator is less experienced. At that time what happens? He do not get a proper information by the respondents, and at that time what happened? Information is less reliable. It is not a perfect information, and that is why it's the disadvantages of this method. So in this particular thing, in this particular part, what we learn? Direct inquiry, directly meet to the person by investigator or animators and visit personally and get the information, as well as advantages and disadvantages of this method. Okay, so here after the completion of direct inquiry, the next topic is indirect inquiry. Okay, so first of all, when indirect inquiry is necessary. Okay, so due to the disadvantages of the direct inquiry, that is more time required, okay, more manpower required. Due to this problem, this indirect inquiry is there. Indirect inquiry method is there. First of all, 4 points are there. Those who are shows that why it is needed. Okay, how it is important. Number one, direct source is not exist. Sometimes what happens, if you want to any inquiry or if you want to do any type of, if you get any information, that sometimes what happens, direct source is not there. For example, India has get an information about the census. Okay, and that time only direct inquiry is there. But sometimes those data are there, but that data is directly not exist in that particular website or in that particular thing. At that time what happened? We have to do with the indirectly method. Okay. Number two, field is very large, personal contact is not possible. Okay. Sometimes what happens? Field area is very wide. Okay. So due to the very wide of field area, very large area, it is not possible to go personally, meet the personally to the particular people and get the information. Okay, so for example, if we are getting the information about the factory, okay, for example factory 2000 employees are there, then it is too difficult to meet the 2000 employee one by one and get the information. At that time indirect method is there. Next, number 3, when information is to be obtained is complex. Sometimes what happens, some persons are there, those who are not ready to give the information, as we discussed that limitation in disadvantages in the direct method. At that time what happens, if they are not ready, because of this indirect method we are getting all the information with the help of third party, so no need to meet any particular person. Okay, so at that time a respondent is not ready or it is too difficult to ask the personal question. Sometimes what happens, if you want to get the information about anyone personal questions, okay, so it is difficult to ask them, but if we get that particular answer with the third party, then it is easy. Okay, so when information is to be obtained is complex, when complexity is there to get the information, at that time indirect method is important. And number 4, when the cost is unbearable. Sometimes what happens, every researcher is not having a good money to do the research. At that time, if any person or any institute, those who are not able to bear all the cost of direct inquiry to meet the personally, set the enumerators, okay, At that time, indirect method is there. So first of all, what is indirect method? So an indirect method, with the help of third party, we get the information of our study. Okay. For example, we have to continue the last example. For example, if you get the information about the Sanand, okay, farmer from belongs to Sanand Taluka, Ahmedabad. So what we have to do? We have to not meet the personally of that particular farmer. What we have to do? We have to give the Taluka Panchayat, okay, and get all the information from only one center. So here, farmer is first party, ourselves second party, but we get the information from the Taluka Panchayat. So it's a third party. So we get the information about third party. Same another example is that, for example, in one factory 2000 employees are there, and if we get the study about that particular 2000 employees, so it is difficult to meet 2000 employees. So what we have to do? We have to go to the admin office of that particular factory and get the information. Another example, for example, if we have the information about, okay, all the students of teams, okay, teams Vera, so it is difficult to meet all the students one by one. So instead of that, what we have to do? We directly go to the admin office, okay, administrative office, and whatever information that we have to require, we get that particular information from it. Okay, so here this is the indirect method. It means that in indirect method we are getting all the information with the help of third party. Okay, with the help of third party we have to collect the information, and that information that we have to use in our study. Okay, as direct inquiry, in indirect inquiries also advantages and disadvantages there. So one by one we discuss all the advantages and disadvantages of this method. Okay, so here number one, advantages: suitable when the field of inquiry is very wide. See, some points are there. Those points. Okay. Okay, some points are there. Those points of disadvantages of direct inquiry. It's the advantages of this indirect inquiry. As we discussed in direct inquiry, okay, when field of area or inquiry is wide, it's a disadvantage. But here in the indirect inquiry, it's a suitable when the field of inquiry is very wide. If the field of inquiry is very wide, then indirect method is there, because we have no need to meet personally particular respondents. We have to directly contact with the third party and get the information. Okay. Next, number two, respondents not willing to give the information. Sometimes what happens, as we discussed, some respondents are there, those who are not give their information in a general public. Okay. So here in this method, no need to meet by any personal person. We have to directly meet to the third party and get the information. So again, it's a good advantages of the indirect inquiries, because we get all the information from only one point, from only one area. Okay. Next, number three, less cost, time and manpower. See, this is again disadvantage of direct inquiry. It is the advantages of the indirect inquiry, indirect method of inquiry. So here, less cost is there because no need to meet personally person. Less time, at the one time we get all the information, and less manpower. Okay. In direct inquiry we have to set many enumerators, but here we get all the information from one particular center, so no need or less need to set the enumerators. Okay. And last, this method is very much useful to the government to collect the various information. So government has collect the various type of information, but it is difficult to meet each and every person for the government. So what they are doing, government need all the information from the third party, various type of institute, various types of branch, various types of NGOs, okay, various type of institute. They get the information and set the policy. Okay, so this is the advantages of indirect inquiry of method. Same as some disadvantages also there. So two disadvantages of this method is that number one, when third party do the prejudice or biasness attitude, information is less reliable. Okay, sometimes what happen in this method, all that particular reliableness of that information is based on third party. Okay, and third party has never interest in anyone. So what happened? Sometimes they give or they do the prejudice or biasness. Okay, prejudice, that means like sometimes they give wrong information. Okay, by intentionally they give wrong information. That's called a prejudice or biasness attitude. At that time, information is less reliable. Okay, and next number two, this method is useless when third party is dishonest information or unable to give the correct information. Okay, so again it's a matter of third party. If the third party is dishonest, okay, or is not able to give the correct information, still he is given wrong information, at that time he gives us to wrong direction. And if data is wrong, our research also wrong. And that is why this is most important two disadvantages which is related to third party. Okay, here also related to third party, here also related to third party. Okay, so in this method, totally based of this method is on third party. Okay, so it's an important thing that where from whom we are collecting that particular information. Okay, so in this video, first of all we learn primary data, then after direct inquiry. In that direct inquiry, meaning, advantages and disadvantages, and number three, as an indirect method when it exists, when it is useful, meaning